done before, Charlie Brown, but this time you really did it. What a treat.
I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
I'm going to start the show. Let's see. Up. Jeff, you hearing me now? Okay, hold on. I'm going to get Jeff on board, and I'll do the intro. How's that? Sound better?
I couldn't. The first video I heard, the Peanuts video I heard. The other one I didn't hear.
Yeah, I don't know.
I started playing it. It was dead.
All right, so let me do the intro. Welcome live from high atop Hard Rock and Sports Studios in beautiful Scenic Monroe, New Jersey. This is Thursday night with Hard Rock and Sports, your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And it's Christmas Eve show here at Hard Rock and Sports. A little special edition, special night edition of the show. We usually on Thursday nights, but Christmas Eve's tomorrow, and Jeff and I are both busy, so we thought we'd pop on, do an hour or so tonight. And we thank you all for anybody out there who is watching us and will be watching us on tape delay or however you come up and find the show. But I'll start up and say Merry Christmas And happy holidays to everybody out there. And Jeff, welcome aboard, brother. There it is. He's representing with the big Jet win this week. He's got his hat on to kind of celebrate it.
Fucking sick to my stomach.
We'll get to the Jets in a few minutes, but let's start off the show the right way. Let's start off with, first off, thanking everybody for last week's big Hard Rocket Sports, which Hard Rocket Sports Christmas show, which I got a lot of people who actually, a lot of people I work with and are friends with me through my job complimented the show. I want Jeff to know that we got a lot of nice positive reviews from people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they thought the show was funny and had some interesting moments.
Did you tell them that we're supposed to be serious?
Yeah, I told them that we're like the Wall Street Journal, that type of show. We're not trying to be funny, but they thought we were funny anyway. So. But we thanks to Carmine Glorioso, the doctor, Leonard Anthony, Sam Bone, and the boys from Sweden, Pressure. In fact, I was going to play their video next, but I didn't get to it. I'll probably try to close the show with Jewel Stress. So thanks to and I apologize. Hey, Merry Christmas, Louis Pica. He's wishing us a Merry Christmas.
There's already people watching us?
Yes, there are already people watching us.
Talk about pressure, huh?
Yeah, I tell you about it. So, but thanks to everybody who helped out last week, and thanks to everybody who's watching along the way. Lots to talk about, especially in the world of football. Some ups and downs from both teams, good and bad. Lots of interesting football. We're going to do a lot of football tonight. We won't be on very long, maybe an hour or so, but we thought we'd do a little something. With the end of the football season coming, Jeff, there's no shortage of stories in the NFL, and we all know that the show is NFL driven.
Yes, it is. I'm looking at your hat.
What's wrong with my hat?
Well, nothing, actually. I'm just looking at your hat compared to my hat, and it seems as though it looks as though that my head is probably 2 to 3 times bigger than yours.
It's the funniest thing. When I looked online, when I bought my hat, and then when I later on went and found yours, and they don't sell them in sizes, so I don't know if it's like a one size fits all type of thing. I even went to a store last night I went to Staten Island Mall last night on my way home from work to pick up a couple last minute things.
You should let me know. I would have come with you.
It was like I was going to go through Jersey and hit a different mall, and then the traffic took me that way, and it was just like a last minute thing, and I was in and out in about 20 minutes, half hour. But I thought about it afterwards. I said, I should have called Jeff on the way and see if he wanted to meet up. But my mistake for not reaching out. So next time I will definitely do that. But anyway, they don't seem to have these hats in much in the way of sizes. So you kind of just get stuck with whatever's on the rack, and they all seem to be one size fits all.
Well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Neither one of these two teams is absolutely killing it. Not many kids are begging for Giant or Jet hats underneath the tree this year.
Yeah, it's funny. You go to the stores, and there's no shortage of Jets and Giants jerseys hanging in the rafters.
No,
so I don't think many people are having a hard time finding a Giant jersey, nor do they think they want to find a Jet and Giant jersey. But
that's more like it.
Well, before we get to both teams, and they both had a bad weekend for different reasons, obviously. But let's talk a little bit about Christmas, Jeff. It's the night before the eve. I have to tell you, I always, every year it happens, I get sad on this night.
Oh, dude, I could get my wife up here right now. I told her the same thing. I was like, you know what? All of this waiting.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Then all of a sudden, bang, it's here, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I just had the same conversation with my own wife, and so people at work were asking me, said, "Oh, you love this?" I said, I love Christmas. I love everything about it. I love the entire time until today, because then tomorrow I go to my parents. You do the whole thing, and then I get home about 9:30 at night, and I look up and go, Christmas is over as far as I'm concerned. It's now ended.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so yeah, I dread tonight, but maybe it'll take our mind off of it, and doing the show with you, and obviously us being friends, we think alike. So but I'm looking forward to it. I get to go to my parents. We're having a nice little regular shindig. We're going the anti-COVID route. We don't care.
How many people?
I would say there's probably about 22 people.
Really?
Yeah, we did a little less on Christmas, on Thanksgiving. No hugs, no kisses. nobody right up on top of each other, but we are in the same, basically the same house, sharing a lot of same space, and everybody's don't everybody doesn't seem to care. They want to get together.
Oh, I hear you, dude. There's only going to be, unfortunately, me and my wife for Christmas Eve this year. Her son can't make it. My daughter comes over on Christmas Day, and her daughter is in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be just the two of us. And,
you're always welcome to come out to the Florio house. There's always an extra seat or two for you and your wife. If you guys, I know that you're not big on the traveling, and you're probably looking forward to the quiet time, but you're more than welcome, obviously.
Yeah, Louis Peak is saying about, thank you, by the way, but I agree with that. Is going to be a COVID farm over there. I'm not going over there. And I don't even believe in this fucking the severity of this virus.
Well, I have to tell you, that this whole thing right now between 1 minute Cuomo and De Blasio want to shut it down, then Cuomo says shutting it down ain't going to help, and then they're giving out the here's the thing. Why does, and I think you posted this today, and it was brilliant because I thought about it afterwards. Well, let me ask the question: once you take the vaccine, why do you have to continue to wear a mask?
Because they don't know if the vaccine is going to work. Yeah. They don't know if and it's a virus. Okay. The flu is a virus.
Yeah.
Every year there's a different vaccine for the fucking flu. What they should do is just, everybody in the pool, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, that's kind of the way. Yeah, I agree.
What else would you do?
I don't disagree. That's why I am living my life the normal way. And, Louis, if you want to tell your boy Fredo's brother that I'm where it is, he's more than welcome to send the state troopers. I'm happy to have the state troopers over, and your boy Cuomo can go fuck himself with De Blasio, the two of them.
Have a seat at the table for them.
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. Mom's got plenty of food. There's always plenty of food at the Florio Christmas. So, listen, tonight after the show, I took a 5-hour energy. Figure after the show, I'm going to go watch a bunch of the shows that I've taped. I got to watch some of them.
What will you be watching?
Well, first on the agenda is probably going to be Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Okay.
That's probably the first one. Then I'm going to decide whether I'm going Frosty and The Year Without a Santa Claus, or if I'm going to go Miracle on 34th Street tonight. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, okay. So I have all of them on tape.
Okay.
Frosty was the only one that I did not DVR. I found all my DVDs, which I have, I believe, Frosty on DVD, Charlie Brown, and everything else. I may watch a few of them later, but I'm going to watch one tonight that I know that you do not have.
Which is what?
Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
I don't have it. I don't have that, and it's one of the better ones.
Yes, it is.
Really is one of the better. Mr. Magoo is a highly underrated character.
Yes, it is. And I'll tell you right now, I could tell you where to get it. It will cost you about $15.
You know what? It might be worth the investment. Where? Netflix? Where
not Netflix. No, I don't even know how to get to Netflix. I
have a Netflix and an Amazon Prime account, so I'm going to try that tonight. I just jotted it down. I'm going to try it after the show.
Apple TV, man. Apple.
Really?
Yeah, you could. I bought it off of iTunes.
John Marhefka, how are you from RFL? Merry Christmas to you, John. And yes, we will be talking Steelers football in a few minutes. I got some highlights from Kevin Green.
How are you, John?
So
we'll do, by the way. We'll
Well, Merry Christmas to you guys all. We these are regular friends of ours and some of the best people that we know. So thank you guys for popping in on the Christmas Eve show.
You mind if I ask John a question?
Go ahead.
All right, John, this is directed directly towards you. Okay. We've asked you this before, but just to get everybody up to speed, why is it that Steeler fans hate Mike Tomlin so much when I, as a Jet fan, would take Mike Tomlin in a fucking second to be the coach of the New York Jets? Why so much hate for Mike Tomlin? Tom, go on while we wait for John on this one. I can't hear you, Tom.
I said I'm sending John a link to the show just in case he wants to pop in for a minute to explain that. So in case John wants to pop in, I just sent him the clip. He's welcome to come on. I know why. Mike, John and I have conversations. I wake up sometimes on a Monday or a Tuesday, depending on when the Steelers play, and there'll be a whole. I'm telling you, like this long a message from John in my messenger, and it'd just be ripping Mike Tomlin. And he's going to tell you that he doesn't win big games. He just never wins the big game.
Stop. Please do me a favor. Write this down. You got your pen in your hand? John, stop, please.
Got a pen.
Stop. You don't know what it's like. At least you're in a big game. Let's fucking win a big game. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Really?
But I have to tell you, Jeff, we'll might as well go right into it. We're going to talk a little bit we're going to get a lot of Christmas talk in tonight. So we want to see what you guys are up to. Tell us, what's your favorite? What do you do on Christmas Eve? What do you do the night before? Again, Jeff and I said earlier in the show here, we kind of get depressed tonight because it's coming. Christmas for us is coming to an end. While most people celebrate for another week or so, to me, it's everything leading up to it. So we want to know what you guys do. What do you eat? Do you guys families have traditions? Yeah, John, if you want to jump in. If not, no problem. But we're gonna be listening. We're gonna be talking Steelers now.
You know what was worse for me this year, this vacation?
What?
I only took 1 week vacation.
Which is weird to you. Yep.
Okay, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. Every day this week, we had something to do. Every day. Well. Okay, which is fine because it was that or would have just been sitting in the house and look at one another. So every day this week we had something to do. So we were going back and forth, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that.
Right.
We went to 3 places today to buy prosciutto. Every single place I went to, the prosciutto looked like shit. So finally I ended up getting it in the fucking store. I could throw a rock from my bedroom window and hit the store. That's how close it is.
Oh, really?
And I got the prosciutto there. All right, and everything. So now I'm all set. I got all my stuff. I got all my fish. I got all the prosciutto that I need. All the stuff for the antipasto.
Well, let's get into that for half a second. What's on the Jeff Towinski or the Towinski family? Oh, wait, we can't. We got to get John on. John just popped up. So, but I want to get back to what's on the food agenda at the Towinski home on a normal Christmas Eve. But you know what? We got a big Steeler fan on. He's obviously the president of RFL Records and the top dog over there. And I'm going to say thank you because I just got this lovely gift in the mail today, which is my Sanctuary Corners of Sanctuary Heroes Never Die CD from RFL Records and one of my new favorite bands. And John, thank you very much.
Hey, you're welcome, Tommy. Hey, Merry Christmas, guys. Good talking to you again.
Merry Christmas. So, Jeff, ask your friend the question you asked him while he wasn't on the air with us.
Why cry and complain every week in, week out, how bad Tomlin is when he's been nothing but successful in his time in Pittsburgh? You can't win every game. Why? I need to know why. Why?
I think it's a combination of things. And I don't think, it's not even so much about the success. It's more of like coming from a frustration level because when you see a team that has that much talent, and this guy continues to underachieve in big games, in big situations. And I think that's the problem. I think when you look at, like a good example I sent to Tommy the other day is how, little pieces of the game that come into, that the coach doesn't cover. Like at the end of the game, I think it was maybe 2 minutes left. Samuels ran out of bounds on a screen pass to stop the clock, and he just gave the Bengals just another little bit of time. It's boneheaded. And the guy, just in situations where the game, is played out and he needs to make adjustments, they continue to not make adjustments. And it's really just the history. If you look back on his history, losing games and, that should be won like that. And especially when a division is on the line and the, a playoff, a home field advantage is on the line. It just nonstop. And I guess it just comes from frustration. And I know we're used to winning here. We're spoiled. But it's also, and I admit that.
And 76, 144 wins versus 76 losses.
Right. But I also sent a thing to Tommy. If you look at his record, he has a .219 winning percentage against bad teams from 2014 to 2017. And that's not counting playoffs or any of that. I mean, just the fact that, the frustration that it continues to happen year in and year out. and not putting teams away. And it's amazing to me.
The Jets have a .219 winning percentage since they won the Super Bowl. That's why I can't understand why Steeler fans, you and Charlie, get all wound up over a regular season loss. It's like, so what? Yeah. So what? You lost the game. Who cares? You're still 11-3, though.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? And I think John will agree with this. They are 11-3, but I don't think the Steelers have played really well for about a month, maybe more now. But yet last year, I thought Tomlin did his best coaching job since he's got it, even winning the Super Bowl. That team going 8-8 last year was his best coaching job to date.
I agree, Tommy. I mean, to get that team 8-8 with Duck Hodges playing, 6 games or whatever. I don't know how anybody did that. And I don't criticize Tomlin for the job he does. I mean, I obviously don't know him as a person or anything, and it's nothing against him in that respect. I just look at it from a game point of view and just don't understand why the same mistakes continue to happen with the talent that's around that team. I mean, I know injuries happen, but if you look at Bill Belichick over the years, I mean, look at the teams that guy had, with just Tom Brady, and he built successful Super Bowl winning teams with little talent.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the truth, John. Here's where I think you Steeler fans are a little bit jaded. Take Belichick and the Patriots out of it, because I think that's an anomaly, something that probably can never happen again. Name me another team that's been as successful as the Steelers have over the last 20 years or more than that. Let's go back to the end of the Chuck Noll era, where it was kind of fishy. From the Cowher era on, the Steelers have been consistently a good football team. I'd like to go back and look and see how many losing seasons that they've had, how many non-playoff years they had, and I bet you they ain't many.
Never mind that. How many times are they favored to get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
if not win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I think
is an amazing feat.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are 1A or 2 to the Patriots in being that franchise that seems to do it right almost every year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and like I said, I agree that that we're spoiled as fans. I mean, I grew up, and from the time I was 5 years old, I mean, we were winning Super Bowls and that. I think it's just it's just like mind-boggling to me just why the same things continue to happen. I would just like to see some of these issues fixed one time. But like I said, when you see that they're playing a team like Cincinnati at 2-10, and he let Juju continue to do that dance on Twitter, and I remember they were playing pool in the locker room back in the when Paul Amalu was there and a couple other times, just in that over the last 10 years, we're playing pool and doing stuff inside the locker room that was kind of sketchy even after a loss, and he didn't take care of the business. I mean, I don't understand it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I get it, and but again, you're talking to two guys whose franchises have severe ups and downs and don't have the consistency of it. But here's what I will say: if you're a Steeler fan, this is unless they turn it around quick, and this is a quick exit from the playoffs, I think it may be time now. Maybe not the coaching end of it. I'm not sure if I'm the Steelers, because I don't know if you can do better than Tomlin right now. But that team needs a makeover. Severe, you're talking about a new quarterback at this point, a severe offensive turnover on players. Defense can use some reworking too.
New quarterback. Now they're going to have Roethlisberger one more year.
No way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he wants to play next year.
He may want to, but he's a shell of himself right now.
Listen, how are you going to tell him if he gets that team into the playoffs? He makes the AFC Championship game. How do you tell him he's not coming back to that team next year?
I don't know. I think it's time. I think it's time to move on. What do you think, John? You're the Steeler fan.
It's a tough one. I mean, he's been taking a lot of hits and all the injuries over the years, and I just don't see. I'm seeing a little bit of the lack of arm strength in certain situations.
Yeah. Watch it tonight. He was flat-footed on his throws. He was overthrowing people. He doesn't look like a comfortable quarterback. And not for nothing, I know that the running game hasn't been there, but he's got a talented receiving core. I think it's time now. I would say you're going to have a really good, really high draft pick. In the sense you're not going to be in one of the top Justin Fields or of course Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's a draft a future quarterback with a veteran. There's going to be some veteran guys floating around out there for a year or two. But I think it's time for the move on from Big Ben.
I don't know, Tom. That's a tough one because it's like the Giants just cutting Eli loose. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I just don't. I personally don't see it. And all the years when the Steelers were up there and in contention to go to the Super Bowl, if they treated Ben Roethlisberger the same exact way they treated Brady, with all of the favoritism that Brady got over the years, Brady doesn't get all of those fucking Super Bowl wins. Roethlisberger would have at least another 2 or 3, and you know that. Come on now.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that, Jeff. I mean, there's a lot that's definitely understandable. I see it.
If they treated him the same way, if they treated both of them the same way, they both got treated the way that Brady got treated. You don't see Roethlisberger getting to.
Again, you'd have to give me an example of where Ben got a bum call or a disfavorable reaction from the NFL. I get the Brady stuff. I understand there's been some stuff that's gone his way.
Just how many times has he been sacked? Roethlisberger. If he got sacked half as many times as like Brady, all you had to do was get near him and it was a penalty. Come on.
Well, Big Ben's a big guy. That's why he's Big Ben. So
what? Doesn't matter that he's not being treated the same. Listen,
again, I always say from the beginning, take out the Patriots because they're an anomaly. One way or the other, they're different. But the Steelers, to me, showing to the team that's been as consistent as the Steelers the last 20 years.
You're not going to find one.
No,
I agree.
I'm not going to find. But listen, John. So you got 2 games to turn it around. You're already in the playoffs, so you got to find it. Give me? Is there a lot of high expectations, or is it you're kind of cautiously optimistic? Where are you at this point?
I'll tell you the truth, guys. I mean, I don't have any. I'm not optimistic at all. I don't see them. Recovering from where they're at right now. I mean, it just looks like almost like a total collapse. I think the only way that you could really get back from where they are right now is you got to run the ball a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
You can't show everything as the short passing game. I mean, it's just entirely too much. I mean, you're running the ball, 10% of the time, it seems like, and 90%, is short passing game. It's so easy to defend that. I think they need to come out and they need to change it up a little bit. I mean, it needs to be, a little more run heavy. I think you need to look at the mismatches a little more than what they are. I mean, they're running the same plays, it seems like. I don't see, Claypool's a mismatch on any corner.
Yeah.
And they're not exploiting that.
But I just don't think that Ben's got the arm strength right now. Doesn't look like he does to get the ball down the field consistently and be consistent with his throws. So I think they're playing to his strengths, lack of strengths at this point. Because I didn't watch Monday night's game. I fell asleep early, but I watched all the other games probably the last 3 weeks, and he just doesn't look like the same guy. So to me, I think they're just trying to compensate for maybe he's hurt, maybe he's got a bad arm. I don't know, but it just doesn't look like the same guy throwing the football back there.
Agree.
So well, let's see what happens. Playoffs are around the corner, John. Before we let you go, I got to ask. Okay, you're home. It's a snowy night. It's coming up on Christmas. What's the show you reach for? You're going to go to the DVR. You're going to Amazon or Netflix, and you want to watch a Christmas show. What's the one you go to? What's what you want?
There's so many good ones too. You guys named that Mr. Magoo. I haven't seen that in a long time. That really brings it back.
It does.
I think the ones that we kind of geared toward is we just watched Christmas Vacation again the other day. That's a classic.
Absolutely.
And the Charlie Brown Christmas is definitely a mainstay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, guys, listen, if you're smart, you go to rforecords.com. You check out some great bands like After the Fall and And my new favorite band, Corners of Sanctuary. Thanks to John, I got the Heroes Never Died CD, which is I've been lucky enough. He sent me a little behind the scenes. I got the digital version, and I love the album. Check these guys out and the entire stable of artists on John's record label. You can't go wrong if you're a fan of hard rock and metalist. That's the place to go, to RFL Records. Our dear friends, and John, I love you. Thank you for popping in. You know you're always welcome with us.
I love you too, guys, man. I appreciate the support. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hey, Jeff, the Jets looked good last week, man. I watched the game. I know you don't hear that too often, but I was impressed. I mean, they nailed the Rams. I mean, they stuck it to them. They were consistent the whole game.
Jeff's not happy with that.
Go fuck yourself,
Hey, John.
All they had to do was lose. All they had to do was, if the Rams, another fucking Super Bowl contender, they should all fucking hang themselves instantaneously. Hey, time in the shower.
Hey, John, are you ready to announce the podcast? I don't want to speak out of turn, but has that been officially put out there? You're going to be doing something?
We haven't put it out there yet, but we're working on an RFL Records podcast. We've been wanting to do that for a long time, and just to bring some of the musicians that we get on there for interviews and things like that, but also to kind of get something a little bit extra for the fans out there, to get them involved in some of the things that we're doing. We got some huge things coming in 2021. By Bang has a new album coming out. I just talked to Jeff Carlson and his manager today, and I have all the new tracks from that album. It's going to be massive. I mean, it's
Jeff's great stuff. Jeff's got great stuff.
Where do you guys hear it? I mean, I'll make sure you get it early.
I appreciate that.
So you can check it out, but it's some good stuff, man. So we're excited about that. We're working on some new signings too. I'm really looking forward to 2021. It's going to be fun.
Well, I think we're all looking to get rid of 2020. But John, listen, we're big fans. You're welcome here anytime we can do any sort of promotion for anything you guys are doing. You let us know. And in the meantime, have a Merry Christmas to you and your family. And I'll obviously talk to you off the air. And again, like I said, I love you and I love everything you guys do.
Love you too, guys. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if I don't talk to you.
You got it. John Mahefka, RFL Records. Check them out, rflrecords.com. Johnny Boy, talk to you soon. Good luck with the Steelers.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
See you, John. That's John Mahefka. It's a good guy right there, Jeff. That's I have to tell you, probably my favorite person I've met through the show. Is probably my favorite person. And I got some nice ones. Don't get me wrong.
No, he seems like a nice, down-to-earth guy.
He really is. And I'm telling you, I'll wake up in the morning and he'll just be a normal, we'll have a football conversation, or he'll say, hey, listen to the show and blah, 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 blah. Good guy. And very supportive of what we do. So
good.
Can't complain. But John, again, listen, so Jeff, both New York teams had bad weekends for different reasons. Which way do you want to go first? Which one do you want to go with?
It doesn't really matter. They should all someplace join hands and jump off a fucking cliff.
All right, let's go to the Jets, because that's a pretty simple one. I've heard the spin this week. There are people out there like, it's no big deal. Even if they don't get the number one pick and they get number two, they'll get this guy. They can go this way. Sam Darnold could be back next year, and they bring in another quarterback. Jeff, how devastating, and in all seriousness, how devastating is a Jet fan when you're writing down an epic losing season, and all you need to do is lose, and your team can't do that? How devastating as a fan is that?
Listen, Trevor Lawrence is being looked upon as a once-in-a-generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to me, that means you're putting him up against Mahomes, Brady, Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning. Okay, you're putting him up against the heavyweights of the NFL within the last 15 to 20 years. All you had to do was lose. That's all you have to do. Okay, Adam Gase, your career is over. Okay, you're not going to get any place in your career. For the Jet players now, this is a dangerous, dangerous team because they tasted victory.
Yeah,
these motherfuckers could win 3 in a row.
They could.
Okay, and because now they have nothing to lose. Okay, everybody associated with the Jets is on a 2-game audition. Everybody from coaching staff to players. So they're trying to show that they belong in this league and that they're doing the right thing and that they can play. Dangerous, dangerous team. Okay.
Yep.
But the drop off between Trevor Lawrence and some of these Justin Fields and some of these other guys, maybe it's not that big. I was reading it today.
Big.
Well, hold on. Now let me finish.
Go ahead. You'd make yourself
Out of all of the college games played, Trevor Lawrence has played at least 8 to 10 games more than the closest competition.
Okay.
That's one thing. Second of all, some of these guys just ain't going to make it, but we also heard last year that Sam Darnold, although 2-3 years ago, whatever it was, Sam Darnold was going to be the next great one.
Yeah.
Okay, suck for Sam. Baker Mayfield, he's another great one. Lamar Jackson isn't going to do nothing in the NFL. Josh Allen, his arm is great, but everything else is suspect. Rosen, this guy is pro ready. He's ready to come now. Okay.
Yeah.
The only two that are doing good is Lamar Jackson and the kid from Buffalo. Everybody else, Rosen's not even in the NFL on an active roster. He's on a practice squad right now.
Well, he just got picked up by he was with Tampa. Now he just got traded. No, he's actually the backup quarterback this Sunday for the San Francisco 49ers. Just came up a few hours ago.
All right, but that doesn't mean anything anyway.
No, it's no different than being the backup squad guy. You're absolutely right.
Matter of a couple hours. Okay, somebody else gets shaken loose, he's probably gone.
That's very possible. Yeah,
but it doesn't mean none of these guys in this draft have come into the NFL yet. Now, Justin Fields seems to be the number 2 consensus after Trevor Lawrence.
I would agree.
But there is a drop off between
huge
him and Trevor Lawrence. Well, they got Lawrence rated at 97. They got Fields rated at like a 93. I saw.
Yep.
So it's okay, but it's still, you just nothing says that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the next thing in the NFL. You just don't know.
I agree.
Everything points that way right now, and you hope that it is, but you just don't know. But with the Jets, I can tell you, if he comes to the Jets, he's a bust. If he goes elsewhere, he's going to propel Jacksonville to the fucking hierarchy of the AFC for the next 10 to 12 years. No, hands down. Maybe longer. Maybe closer to 20 years. You don't know. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, again, listen, I always say the same thing. I mean, I'll give you a quick, for instance, and Ryan Tannehill is that guy for me right now. Simple one. He comes out, he's a wide receiver in college, basically. Comes out to the pros, he's our quarterback, and he struggles. He had some moments, but he struggles with the Miami Dolphins. All of a sudden, he goes to the Tennessee Titans, and he turns into a real quarterback. So sometimes, Jeff, it's not your ability, it's the ability of the team you'll put around. Maybe it's the scheme, the play calling, the teammates. 100 things could impact it. Now, maybe if Sam Darnold had wound up on a different team, maybe Sam Darnold is a elite quarterback at this point. Nobody knows.
Listen, first of all, here's the difference, all right? And the thing that you have to realize, the thing that connects Tannehill to Darnold is Adam Gase.
Yeah, I agree.
Adam Gase's offenses have slowly sunk down year after year after year. They only get worse. They've never gotten better. Okay? Everybody says, well, he worked with Peyton Manning. He worked with Jay Cutler. Peyton Manning was already a Hall of Fame quarterback before Adam Gase even knew who he was.
Yep.
Okay.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Cutler is Jay Cutler. He was okay to above average at best. He was nothing special. Okay. Nobody ever said like, oh, I can't wait for this guy to become a free agent.
Yeah.
We get a chance to sign him. Never happened. Never once happened. So as far as I'm concerned, all he did was ruin Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold just is shot.
Yeah. No, I agree. Change the scene every time. Yeah.
Darnold it doesn't know how to do are things that somebody who's a second-year quarterback should know what they're doing already. I watched Baker Mayfield play the other day.
Yeah.
He looked sharp. He knew what he was doing. Mahomes looked sharp, knew what he was doing. Lamar Jackson, different aspects of his game. The kid from Buffalo.
Yeah,
listen, Lamar Jackson, he could run. He learned how to throw a lot better than his first year. The kid from Buffalo looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But there's Sam Darnold. Looks like he couldn't hit ground if he threw the ball out of a fucking airplane.
Yeah.
He'd have trouble hitting the ground. The guy's just, what is the problem here?
Well, again, now what if Sam Darnold wound up with Sean McDermott up in Buffalo and Josh Allen wound up with the Jets? Would their careers be at different points? We have no idea. So listen. Here's the thing. Right now, if the season plays out and the Jets win another game or just finishes out with them in the second pick in the draft, they probably wind up with Justin Fields or Kyle Trask from Florida. I'm not a big fan of any of these guys. I think they're all good players, but there's Mac Jones coming out of Alabama, going to be a top-notch quarterback. Tell me the last Alabama quarterback that's lit the country on fire, the NFL on fire. So
can't think of it that way, though, Tom, because if that's the case, then you're going to say, well, the only quarterback that's won anything has been a guy that comes out of Stanford. So we're only going to draft Stanford quarterbacks. Although I do understand what you're saying.
No, but yeah. I mean,
completely put it that way.
Well, let's put it this way. If you have one or two guys come out of a school, one of them's good, one of them's bad, you say, okay, it's a player. But if you pick a guy from a school and the last 4 or 5 guys who played quarterback there came to the pros, high prospects, and they don't do anything, okay, now you could take Jalen Hurts, Tua. They've had good careers. They've looked like their NFL careers are off to a decent start. So, but the Ohio State guys, I can't remember the last Ohio State guy. Art Schlichter. I mean, how far back do I got to go to find an Ohio State quarterback who came to the pros and had a big year? So I haven't looked it up. So
different different coaches.
Yeah, I agree.
Schemes, different players involved.
Now
you got to remember one thing. On some aspects, would you say that playing college football may actually be harder than it is to play pros? And the reason I ask that is because, say you get drafted this year, you're a quarterback, you get drafted this year. 2 years ago, they drafted 3 offensive linemen. The year before that, they drafted a wide receiver. And 2 years before that, they drafted a tight end. So now you got all of these players, relatively young guys, and now here you come on an established team. You got an established line, you got weapons, you got a running back, and you got a good coach.
Yep.
Okay, but now you're in college, and your best wide receiver, he's a senior this year. The other guy's a junior. He may leave because he's facing, the possibility of a huge contract. Your coach may be going to the NFL because he's the next hot thing. So coaching teams, the college teams, turn around even quicker than the NFL.
Oh, absolutely, sure. 2 years, you can turn over a whole team, sure.
Oh, 2 years, and that could be a huge difference.
Oh, sure.
In the NFL, you could get 3 or 4 years.
I would say,
team is like sand; it's constantly moving.
Yeah, well, because the most you're going to get a guy is there 4 years playing. So I mean, yeah, of course, you could turn over 8 of 9 guys who were starters for 2 years, because they're all seniors now and they're all leaving. So yeah, of course, I would agree with you. It's tougher to have long-term success in college than it may be in the pros. So again, you're also playing on teams where maybe 5 or 6 guys on the field are pro caliber ball players.
Yes, that is very true. Playing against teams that have guys that are never going to even see the pros.
Correct. Right.
Unless they buy a ticket and they get in and they're sitting in the stands.
Exactly. Or they're cutting the grass before the game.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Listen, here's the thing about the Jets. It's such a flux right now because A, you don't know who the coach is going to be. B, it's a little less attractive. Now, listen, if you're the Jets and you have the number 1 pick in the draft, you're much more attractive knowing that you're walking into Trevor Lawrence than if you're maybe getting Justin Fields or keeping Sam Darnold and drafting an offensive lineman or an edge rusher. So,
yes, but you know what? As a coach coming in right now, okay, let's say that the Jets get the 2nd pick. Okay. And you're the coach coming in. And I tell you that, all right, Tom, we got the 2nd pick in the draft. We're taking your input on this is huge. 85% of the call is going to be based on you. Okay. We're all going to sit and talk about it, but we want most of the input. What kind of player do you want? Who do you want? This is who we would like to see, but who do you want? Let's hear your ideas. You're going to be coaching these guys. Who do you think? Talk to me. Tell me.
Me, if I was coming in,
not you, but I'm just saying, if they give that to somebody, but while we're talking, go ahead. You're the coach. You're on the clock. What are you going to do with that pick? You're going to trade it. You're going to keep it. You're going to go quarterback. You're going to go a different player. What would you do?
Yeah, well, that's what you're selling. You're still, because you're the coach. You're coming in with the, hey, don't take a quarterback. And Louis right, the BYU quarterback look good. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft. There's only one potentially great one, in my opinion, that I watched. I like Mac Jones at Alabama. The kid from BYU is pretty good. The kid from Florida, I'm not high on him. I think he's a good player. Trask, yeah, Kyle Trask. So this, and again, I'm not big on, huh?
He looked good when I seen him.
Yeah, no. Again, they look good. This is a tough year to evaluate people. You're probably not going to have a combine that to speak of. I would be surprised. But so listen, if you're the Jets, are you taking a quarterback no matter what at the second pick? Are you going to say screw it and we're going to draft a quarterback later in the draft and then go, maybe go edge rusher and then bring in a veteran guy? There's 100 possibilities. The Jets are still in a good position. They're just not in as good a position as they were a week ago. But here's the thing, Jeff. You're asking a bunch of guys, and you said it perfectly before. You're asking a bunch of guys who are auditioning for other jobs to go out and play badly and lose, and to manage the dream of getting Trevor Lawrence. And these guys don't care because most of them won't even be there next year.
Yes, but you know what, Tom? You got to remember something. The Jets have something that no other team in the NFL has right now.
Which is?
4 number 1 picks in the next 2 years.
That's true.
Okay?
Yep.
You throw that at Jacksonville. If you think Trevor Lawrence is the guy, okay? Because basically you're only losing your number 1 pick next year.
Okay.
Think about that. You're losing your number 1 pick next year. You call up Jacksonville. You say, you switch with me right now. I'm giving you both Seattle picks plus my number 1 next year, plus my number 2 this year or something. You sweeten the pot.
Sweet.
You got a lot of picks. A lot of picks. Fucking package them up, man. And Jacksonville is in just as bad a shape as you are.
Yeah.
They'll take the picks because now it's their decision who they want a quarterback. They know Trevor Lawrence is off the board, but they got all of these other guys that they could choose from. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on how you have them graded. If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and you have, and here's Hard Rocket Sports Christmas Eve show. Jeff Tomlinski, Tom Florio here. We're here for a little while longer until we run out of gas, but we hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. It all comes down to this, Jeff. If I'm Jacksonville, okay, we all know Trevor Lawrence is graded. Let's say they're grading 1 to 100. Trevor Lawrence is a 95. Where is Justin Fields or Kyle Trask or Mac Jones? Do you have them at 90? Do you say, well, he might not be Trevor Lawrence, but he's a Ben Roethlisberger type, and I can live with him with all those picks? That's the question that if you're the coach or the scouting department of the Jacksonville Jaguars, you'd ask yourself before you make that pick, trade.
Who knows if the Jets would even entertain that thought and call up Jacksonville with that? We're thinking this. We're saying this for the show, for purposes of the show. I'm just telling you that if Jacksonville ends up with the number 1 pick, and I'm Joe Douglas, I'm on the phone with them once a week between now and the draft and on the draft. I'm on the phone with them a couple times a day. I will give you Sam Darnold. First, I'd start off with this year's number 1 and Seattle's number 1.
Okay.
You don't take it? Okay, no problem. Maybe throw in number 2, the second round pick. So you would get 2 number 1s and a number 2 this year.
Wow.
Okay, you don't like that? Okay. 2 number 1s this year plus Seattle's number 1 next year. And just keep sweetening the pot. Okay. The 2 number 1s this year, Seattle's number 1 next year, our number 2 this year. Then go beyond that with 2 number 2s next year, or 2 number 1s next year, 2 number 1s this year. Throw Sam Darnold in the mix if you have to.
But let me ask you this question. And that's great, but are you...
And by the way, that's if the Jets think that Trevor Lawrence is the guy, too, by the way.
Yeah, which I'm sure they think so. It's just a matter of how big a split is it between Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and the rest, and everybody else. But if you're the Jets, though, Jeff, let's say you make that move. Let's say I'll use your thing. So let's say they get their pick this year. Obviously, they make the switch, and maybe they give the 2 Seattle picks next year, or their number 1 next year and 1 Seattle pick next year. Let's say some combination, and you've given away a ton of picks. do you run the risk of not being able to build the proper team around Trevor Lawrence?
Well, listen, you don't rape yourself of picks either.
That's the point. Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
my
mean?
point.
You
Yeah,
have to make sure that you have some picks for yourself, of course.
correct. Yeah,
But they have procured a lot of picks.
yes. They have a lot of cap room. They have a lot of picks. You're absolutely right.
You could use other picks, not necessarily your picks.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to cost you a couple number ones one way or another. You
Oh,
know,
100%. If you're going to get Trevor Lawrence from the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're going to give up at least 2 number 1 picks.
yes, but
100%. And this year's pick, you're going to switch picks this year.
yes, but if 2 of those picks,
Mhm.
by the way, I don't know what you're drinking there, but it looks great because my mouth is like sand right now. What is that, ginger ale?
Ginger ale, little mini ginger ale.
If you think that Trevor Lawrence is going to turn out to be a Ben Roethlisberger, a Drew Brees, a Tom Brady, you got to bite the bullet on that, man.
Well, that's the question. Yeah, that is the question. Is he generational? If you want to go get a drink, go get a drink. I'll fill in for a second.
Okay, yeah, please. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, guys, if you're out there and you know, how much do you want to sell your soul for? But again, guys, Hard Rocket Sports Christmas Eve show here every Thursday night normally, but tonight on Wednesday night to celebrate Christmas Eve. We hope you and your families are out there are going to enjoy yourself one way or the other. Be careful, Louis Pica. He's threatening to go out and get Fredo's brother Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, to raid your house if you have more than 2 people in it and you smile behind a mask. They'll come and take you away. But we hope you guys enjoy the holidays and come back next Thursday. We might be on the air for New Year's Eve. I don't think there's much else to do, so we may do the show. If not, we'll be here Wednesday breaking down Jets, Giants, all the good stuff. Lots of football. I'm going to talk about David Hasselhoff. The Hoff is a metalhead. I want to try to get to that tonight. We're talking about Christmas, so if you're out there and you're listening, let us know. What's your favorite Christmas show? What do you and your families do on a normal Christmas? What kind of food you guys eat? We're interested to know, and we'll talk a little sports, a little more music, and probably be on the air till about 9 o'clock. But see how it plays out. We got lots to talk about. So at the Giants, interesting position for the Giants to be in right now. They need to win out. They need a loss from the Washington Redskins. There's other ways to get in. And yes, folks, I said Washington Redskins. I don't say Washington football team. Again, I'm not going to blame the Giants. We'll get to them in a minute. But, I thought that was again, this Giant team is better, but not, again, no results. But, Jeff, let's finish up on the Jets. I hope you got your drink and you're feeling better.
Yeah, dude, you know what? I have my computer set up in my bedroom. I got my computer desk up here. So I got a bathroom right over that way. And the coldest water in the house. I don't even have to put it in the refrigerator. It's so cold. It's unbelievable. Why is bathroom water always the coldest in the house?
Don't know why, but you're 100% right. I had a few drunken nights guzzling some bathroom tap water. So, hey, Jeff, so let's wind this up a little bit. I want to get to the Giants. I want to get through the NFL playoff picture. David Hasselhoff is a metalhead. I want to talk a little about that, but let me ask you this question. Do you see a scenario where with a coaching change, and I don't think there's any choice, there's going to be a coaching change.
Oh, that better be.
Yeah. That Sam Darnold could still be, whether he's the starter or fighting for a job. Do you see a scenario that Sam Darnold's still on that team next year?
It's the Jets. I could see them trying to bring Richard Todd back. God only fucking knows. Listen, the Jets win 3 in a row. And if they play games, the next 2 games, and win the next 2 games, and they play like they did against the Rams, there's a chance that everybody and their mother comes back. And you know that simply because it's the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a reason why when Greg Williams dialed up that blitz,
yep.
Okay, who, by the way, there's a couple people that we're friends with, mutual friends, that I argued with tooth and nail about this, how they said, well, the Williams shouldn't have been fired. The players, they did. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh.
He's the one that called the blitz. You either don't know what you're talking about with football, or you have no fucking idea how to breathe right and walk upright at the same time. You don't blitz with 13 seconds left. You just don't do it.
Nope.
You protect everything. But why is it that how come he still has a job? Adam Gase has a job. Why? Why?
Yeah.
He looked at the field. He was the last one. They said he was the last one to look at the field, looked at the safeties 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, and just turned around and kept walking the way he was walking. Never even questioned it.
Yep.
Didn't ask anybody anything.
Yeah.
What?
It's pathetic. Here's the thing. He was allowed to, it wasn't that the owners called down and said, we want you to fire Greg Williams. He called upstairs and said, hey, I want to fire Greg Williams for that. And they said, okay, here's a guy who he's, and I'll say this, he's the CEO of the company. Everything goes through his headset. He has the ability to say yes or no to anything on the field. To me, that's on him. When he heard that, should have called the timeout and said, absolutely not. You will not run that defense. You will play 4 guys deep. Everybody's heels on the goal line. That loss is completely on him.
I agree. Totally agree.
And I agree with you. He should have been fired from that. And I'm not a big fan of firing coaches in midseason, but that was embarrassingly pathetic.
What was that, game 12 or something? Game 11?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
It was obvious you weren't going anyplace. It was obvious that you were not going to overcome this. Just cut ties with everybody. You know why? Because you didn't send that team a message. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
You did not send that team a message. You did not say that, you know what? Nobody on this team right now is going to be here next year.
Nobody's safe.
Expendable. You're all expendable. Okay? So if you turn around and you ask the coach in the middle of the season with no explanation, you're just like, he's gone. That's it. Gone. Which he should have been fired.
Absolutely.
Okay, a long time before that, but you held him out. He's gone. He's got to go.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. I heard a couple of scenarios. One that I thought was interesting was, the Jets not getting Trevor Lawrence, taking, let's say, a project quarterback, maybe somebody like a Mac Jones or somebody who's maybe not as high up on the food chain as a couple of the top guys, and keeping, taking a guy like that, but bringing in Carson Wentz to be the quarterback of the New York Jets next year. That he needs a change of scenery. My problem with Carson Wentz, Jeff, is I don't like the attitude. And I heard people talking about it today, and I think they were right. He's not being a good teammate. This is a guy who's not played well for 2 years and has no reason to badmouth or not be part of the be part of the, hey, I'm going to back up the quarterback and I'm a teammate. Even if you hate the position, I think that would be a terrible move for the Jets. I think Carson Wentz is done. Maybe if you get send him up, maybe up in New England, maybe Sean, those guys can fix him. But I'm not taking him if I'm the Jets.
Let me ask you this: Joe Judge gets canned at the end of the year.
Okay.
Peterson is the Eagles coach's name, right?
Correct.
All right, he gets canned too. The Giants, you want them to fire? You want them to hire Peterson?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Well, he's not successful now. I don't think he's run a good ship, so I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want the retread, guys. The guys, I don't think he's a good coach. I know he's had the Super Bowl win, but I was never impressed.
Okay. That being said, could some of that have carried over to Carson Wentz? Do you think that a change of scenery for Carson Wentz may be a different scenario?
It happens. I won't tell you. It happens with coaches. I don't know too many coaches that I can say coach someplace and went someplace else and had better success. So, but there has been some places where players have done it. Jim Plunkett's done it. There's players who have had better success on other teams. But to me, if you're a flop on one team, you're probably going to be a flop on another. Probably.
But knowing that the way that Peterson's career has gone, a lot of people are going to turn around and look at Carson Wentz and be like, well, this guy still has a little something left to give.
Oh, I agree. No,
that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Chicago's going to be looking for a quarterback. The Saints are going to look for a quarterback. The Patriots are looking for a quarterback. I think at this moment, the Colts. I think at this moment, if Carson Wentz was a free agent, he would probably be the top of the list of all the free agent quarterbacks out there.
I could go with that. I could definitely see what you're saying. I could agree with you.
Yeah,
I think you're 100% right. But the whole thing is, if somebody blames the coach, somebody else may turn around and say like Frank Reich. I could see Carson Wentz maybe going to the Colts.
That's a great one.
His career revived totally.
And he had his most of his success on the Frank Reich. So that's a great one. I didn't think of that one. You're 100% right. That would be the ideal spot for him to reunite with Frank Reich. Absolutely.
a possibility of him staying in his own division, possibly Dallas. You don't know what's going to happen with Dak Prescott.
Washington,
exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen over there.
Mhm.
Haskins just got fucking fined $40,000 for taking his pictures with no mask on with a few strippers.
You know, here's my bigger problem with Haskins, and you're going to think I'm crazy, okay? But the pictures with the strippers. You know, here's the thing: you lost the game, you're out celebrating. You got a bunch of strippers you hired who are all wearing your jersey, which to me is as egotistical as you could ever be. But my biggest problem with the whole thing is,
hey, I'm hanging out with a bunch of strippers. I certainly don't want them wearing your jersey, bro.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. My bigger problem with it is eating the wings at a strip club. I mean, is that really what you're eating? Wings at a strip club?
I'm sure he started eating wings at a strip club and he moved on to other delicacies.
I think he'd be safer eating the wings.
It may be, whatever.
But
listen, he probably thinks if he survived COVID, he's going to survive the clap. What's the big deal?
That's true. But you know what? Let's go back to the draft a couple of years ago when everybody wanted the Giants to take Dwayne Haskins. He grew up a Giant fan. And I said it that whole time. I did not want Haskins. Even though he usually a guy wants to be a Giant, I'm a big fan of people going there as fans. But I said it. I didn't like the way he played the game. And between that and this is second COVID violation of the year. Your team's fighting for the playoffs. You just lost and you're out partying with strippers, no mask. And he could. I don't know if he's going to get suspended. I think the league could suspend him for it.
That I do not know what's going to happen. I know that he got fined $40,000.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, especially since Alex Smith is hurt, and there's rumor that he, what's his face, is going to be filling in for a game or two. Haskins may be playing.
Yeah, he played last week, and yeah, it was but
whatever.
Yeah, so this week they'd have to play Taylor Heineken. That's the backup this week. Who will be playing this week?
Look at it this way too. You don't know what he would have been like if he went to the Giants.
Absolutely, agreed.
You don't know what it would have been like. Ron Rivera. We had Cam Newton for how many years? Cam Newton had a couple good seasons, but he wasn't lighting the league on fire.
Yeah. No,
it's hard to say.
Oh, Cam Newton has been terrible, and yes, wings at a strip club just named by Vince Neil. Yeah, there's a lot of guys I'm sure have eaten the chicken wings at a strip club. But are you farting and are you just crop dusting yourself?
Dude, if I'm in this position for this long and farting for that long, that's a record.
Actually,
I was bending over because I had an itch on my ankle.
Guys, Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom. We're going to get a little music. We're going to do a little music in a minute. But right now I want to finish up with some football. We got plenty more to get to. We got probably another half hour if Jeff's got the energy for it. I want to go to the playoffs to get some.
I go to work tomorrow. You see that?
What's that?
Let's just look at that color.
I see blue.
That's right. Let's talk blue.
Okay, let's move over to the Giants. Oh, so you can go first. I know you told me today you were going to rip the Giants. You're ripping Giant fans. You were ready. You've been feisty all week about it. So before we get to the Hoff and Iron Maiden, and let's go ahead. You can. I'm turning the show over to you. It's your game.
Let me put on my Wizards hat first.
Yeah, put on your Wizard hat, please.
All right. First.
Go ahead.
Okay, the Giants. This is an awful team, like I've been telling you all year. Okay, had no right under the sun to call themselves and even think that they were a playoff team. 2 games left, 1 game behind. The Giants pretty much have to win both games. Washington has to lose at least one of these games, okay, for them to really, I just don't see the Giants winning both games. I just don't see it. Jones, the guy has not thrown a touchdown pass since like 6th grade. It's been so long. The guy's awful. He's awful, okay? Take 2 wins away. Take 2 wins away from them against the Redskins. That brings them down to 3 wins. Take another win away from them. I think it was the Cowboys. Take 1 win away from them over there, and you're dealing with a team that's won 2 games. It could be that easy. All right.
The whole division's the same way. So I got it.
I understand, but we're only ripping apart the Giants.
That's true. I forgot. We're concentrating on ripping the Giants. So go ahead. Continue.
Right. Now, I just don't think they're ready. They're not there yet. And Giant fans, I know one Giant fan in particular, who said that my team is a playoff team.
Listen, I've said it from the beginning of the season. Listen, at the beginning of the year, you said the Giants would be lucky to win 2 or 3 games. Okay,
Yes, they did.
They exceeded that. I said they were.
They've been extremely lucky to win 5 games.
Okay, I said that they were a possible playoff team, which they are. I didn't say they would win 20 games. All I said they were a possible playoff team. I thought the defense would be good enough. The one thing I misinterpreted, I thought they'd be much better offensively. And have they been a better offensive team, even just a little bit better, they would be in the playoffs right now. They already have clinched the division, but they're putrid on offense right now.
What happens, Tom? What happens in April when the Giants are on the clock and they're staring at one of these quarterback prospects?
No chance. Next year's draft will be a wide receiver. Daniel Jones is going to be their quarterback next year. There's enough tape of Daniel Jones playing well. I think that it will click and he will be a good quarterback. Will he be elite? I keep saying I have no idea. Daniel Jones is an NFL caliber quarterback.
You can't go by tape and send tape out there to play up against some of these teams in 2021. You got to have the man. You can't go out there and say, all right, he was good on tape in this game. Let's throw this game out.
I'm just saying. Listen, Jeff, last year he had, I think it was 6 300-yard games. He had 4 games where he threw for over 300 yards, had like 4 touchdowns or more, and no interceptions. I'm not down on Jason Garrett, but I think Jason Garrett has been way too conservative this year in his play calling. And I think that there'll be a little bit of a change offensively. I don't think Jason Garrett will be back next year one way or the other. And I think the offense is going to be better. I don't think so. First of all, I really do think he'll get another job.
And to answer Louis' question, it wasn't take 3 wins away. Yes, it was. But 1 win against the Redskins. Ron Rivera went for a 2-point conversion. He would have won the game. They could have possibly won that game if they went for the extra point and went into overtime. The second game against the Skins, that was another game that they won by the skin of their teeth. And then the third game, which was against the Cowboys, I think. No,
they beat the Eagles, they beat the Seahawks, and they beat the.
All right, so it was the Seahawks was another. Not the Seahawks, wasn't it the Eagles was another close one because they had 3 wins in their own division, and that was a close win. So you take those 3 away. Especially since they were in their own division, they haven't beat anybody.
But you can't take away a win. A win is a win. You only can play to beat
the fucking chips that fall in a different way, and you know it.
Again, look at the Steelers. Everybody thought the Steelers were going to win the Super Bowl. They couldn't beat the Bengals. The Giants beat the Bengals.
It's fucking December right now.
The Giants beat the Seahawks.
The only people complaining about the Steelers.
Listen,
John Marheka and his friends.
The Giants are not a great football team. The Giants are a tough football team from a standpoint of you don't want to play the Giants because of their defense. They run the ball really well. If they can click on offense a little bit, they'll win these 2 games. Listen, I told you from the beginning they were going to go 3-2 down the stretch. Right now they are 1-2. So they got to win the last 2 to make it. If they win the last 2, then they don't make it.
They're not going to win the next 2.
Oh, listen,
there's no way.
Listen, I'm
They might beat Dallas. They might beat Dallas.
Again, I'm not saying they're gonna or not. I think they're gonna win. That's my prediction. I'm gonna bet on it again this week. By the way, I bet 9 games this week and I hit 6 of the 9.
So how much did you win?
Nothing. I don't win anything. But I'm getting close. I'm getting close this week.
Why not bet 1 game and try to win something? Why not?
No, it's more because you bet $10 and you win like $9,000.
And how much have you won already?
Nothing. But I'm only betting $10.
How much have you thrown up?
I don't know. I think all told I probably bet about $50 all told the last 6-8 weeks.
So bet down on 1 game, man.
That's not the same. You want that fever. You want the fever of like $3,000 for a $10 bet. It's more fun.
Oh God.
So
I think you're watching. What movie was that the guy was betting so much on a sports game? Wasn't there a movie like that?
I'm sure there was plenty of those. I'm just not drawing one right now. But listen, I watched the Giant game, the entire thing against the Browns. They played good off defensively, kept them to 20 points. The Browns have been putting 40 points on the board. I love the fact that that Joe Judge was aggressive the first 3 drives down the field to get down to red zone. The first one, I don't know if you saw it at all, but the first one,
no, I didn't see much of that game.
4th and goal, first possession, 4th and goal. They fake field goaled it. The only problem I have with it, I don't like the play they called. So here's my one knock on it. So they were going for touchdown. I love that. So they went to formation. So instead of snapping the ball, faking the kicking and throwing it, they changed it to a different formation. So it gave the Browns a chance to adjust a little bit. Then the guy throwing the football was the punter. He snapped the ball, and his three of his receivers was a right tackle, the center, and the kicker. So it didn't – the play call itself, if you fake the field goal where the guy goes up to tries to kick it, then the guy pulls the ball back like Lucy with the Charlie Brown series and then sneaks one out, I would have been impressed. I would have liked that more. Or, if you would have thrown to a wide receiver, but you threw to your center. So I didn't get any of that. But I liked him being aggressive. I liked that. Go out there and smash the football down. And if you don't do well, you don't do well. I think this is a good team that's headed for better things. They need a wide receiver. They need a little more help here and there. Are they a great team? No. Are they going to make the playoffs? I don't know. I
haven't heard them say Golden Tate's name since he's been suspended. What's going on there?
Yeah, he's playing and he's been more active, but he won't be on the roster next year. I'll be surprised if he's back. I think he'd want to go
this year. He was always a solid receiver.
Yeah, and you know what it is? Here's the problem, Jeff. You got 3 guys who are almost the same player with Shepard, Slayton, and Tate. And it just seems like they're going more to Shepard. He's healthy. And they've gone to Tate. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't dominated. And again, he's just not that kind of player to dominate. And
he's getting old now, too.
Yeah, he's in his 30s. I mean, I don't think he'll be back next year. I think he was a nice pickup. Probably, would have been better in the more of the Eli era than it was in the Daniel Jones era. I think he would have got more use out of it with Eli.
I don't know.
Yeah, but again, it's a team that's headed for better things, in my opinion. When that'll be, I don't know. They need to fix the offense. Bottom line, they need a burner. They need somebody to get down the field, stretch it out. I love the offensive line. Everybody can bang down on all they want. I love the guys on this offensive line. There's some really good. I think there's some talent, and they're going to be better. We need
realize that Saquon Barkley, who played in 2 games, got injured in one of them.
Yep.
And still, I believe, had less than 100 yards in the 2 games he played, is still their 5th best rusher.
Well, I mean, how many rushes do you have in a season? But yeah, I got your point. But here's the thing: my bigger question is, his contract.
Nobody has picked up the ball, the slack there.
No, I disagree. Wayne Gallman's played really good football, and Wayne Gallman's had some really good games. And I'm curious to see if Barkley would have done better. This offensive line's gotten better, especially in the run game. But Wayne Gallman's had a really good run of this season. He's had a couple games over 100 and something yards. Wayne Gallman's played really well. Alfred Morris has done a good job on this team.
Alfred Morris is not a long-term answer.
No, not at all.
What happens next year? Do they continue to go with Barkley?
Well,
do they give this other kid a chance?
That's a great question. I could see Gallman being the second guy to Saquon Barkley. The question becomes, hey, Leonard Anthony, how are you, buddy? How you doing? The question is, Jeff, for me, do the Giants make the financial commitment to Saquon Barkley? I mean, are you going to go out there and give him a 4-year, $80 million, $50 million guaranteed contract? That's the question.
I wouldn't.
I have to be honest with you. I'm not far off on you on that one. I love Barkley. I'd love to have him full time. The injury bug is bothering me a little bit. And I think he changes the dynamic of his offense where you kind of forced to feed him the football more often than Wayne Gallman. But it's hard. He's such a talented player that it'd be hard to not have him. I don't want to put us to have the Giants put themselves in a position where they give too much money to one player. That's
never mind that, Tom. Never mind that. Okay?
Merry Christmas, Leonard. Merry Christmas, sir.
Let me ask you this. Okay, it's 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row where he's had some injuries.
Yep.
Every year the injuries continue to get a little bit worse than the year before. Are you going to commit to him long term
I don't know.
and worry what happens?
Yeah,
Are you going to possibly, tell him, say, listen, we'll give you a 2-year deal, $8 million the first year, we'll give you $15 million the second year, and then we're willing to you stay healthy. We're willing to talk extension or whatever.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't give him a deal. I got to be honest. He's locked up for next year. I franchise him the year after. So to me, no, I can't make that financial commitment right now.
Then you know that he's going to be all upset.
I got it, but again, show me the fact that you could stay healthy and run for 1,500 yards and score 7-8 touchdowns in the season, and then I make the commitment. But what do? You get to another position where you're gonna, he's gonna be on the hook for $20 million next year or $15 million next year, and then the guy's out again. I love the player, but I'm not making that financial commitment until I see him repeat his rookie season. Repeat the rookie season, and you got your deal.
Is he capable of repeating?
I don't know. You know what, Jeff? I can't answer because he hasn't done it for 2 years. So, last year he rebounded, still wound up with 1,000 yards, but I'm never impressed with the 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards in this league is like 60 yards a game. It's not impressive.
There's a lot of teams, Tom, that haven't had 1,000-yard anything.
Right. So to me, but if you want to impress me, I want to see 1,400 yards. I want to see, close to 10 touchdowns. And I want you to put the ball in your hand 50, 60 times, catching and get another 400 or 500 yards. Then to me, that puts you in the elite category. But no, I'll be honest with you, I would not sign him long term. I would make him play year to year for now until he wowed me and showed me he could stay on the field. Otherwise, what I saw from Wayne Gallman showed me a lot. So we'll see. It's going to be a tough week, a couple weeks for the Giants. They got to win this week, obviously, against the Ravens. Big game. You have some flexibility because I'm not. This is a weird game, Jeff. Redskins Panthers Sunday is Redskins got to have it, but the Carolina Panthers are not a great team.
Yeah.
So
no, they're not. They're not. It's
yeah. Let's run through the games for this week because I kind of was looking it up and there's some interesting games. Give me the games that excite you, Jeff, the ones that don't excite you. Let's see real quick. Again, Hard Rock Sports, Jeff and Tom, every Thursday night. Tonight, Wednesday night, a little special edition show since we can't do a show tomorrow night. Thanks for you guys for stopping in. I take it a listen, take it a watch, and then we'll go through the playoffs. We'll get a little music in. But again, guys, thanks for stopping by. Merry Christmas to all of you and to your families. The best from Jeff and I. We'll be back next week with our year-end show. We do it every year. Jeff, will you be reading the death toll? Usually every year.
We kind of have to do it. We just added a new one to the top of the heap this week.
Yes.
Leslie West from Mountain. Yeah,
had I known earlier, I would have tried to reach out to Peter Barron and try to get him on, do a little something. I might do it for next week. But, that's another one. But, usually every year you do compile the list of the musicians and athletes who pass away, and you read it on the air. So,
yeah, we will do that without a doubt. It's kind of like a tradition. And maybe what we could do is, if you like, it's just up to you. We could give a few of our favorites for next year. Who
the Deadpool.
Yeah, a little bit of a Deadpool, by the way. I'm sure that Raphael has some stuff going on over there at Bookie AG or whatever it is.
Yes, my Bookie AG. I'm sure he's got a Deadpool up there. So it's a good one, actually. I have to reach out to Raphael, maybe get him on the show next week. He hasn't been on in a while.
Yeah, where has he been?
I haven't heard from him. With last week's show, he wasn't due on last week. He was due on this week, but last week's show was really packed, so I didn't want to drag him into it. And then this week's show, I wasn't sure we were going to do it till the last minute, so I figured with the holidays, I'd take the break in. But maybe we'll get him back next week, see if he's interested.
We'll talk about next week off the air, but. Go ahead. Let's see. You said you got a couple games that you want.
Yeah, let's run through this week's games now. A big week this week. You have games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yes. Who's playing only one game on Friday though? Right?
Only one game on Friday. Friday game this week is Minnesota and New Orleans. Now Minnesota is basically out of it. New Orleans needs to start the rebound. Jeff, is this a meaningful game? Is this a game that would be interested in watching? Minnesota, New Orleans.
If I come across it sometime over the course of the day, what time is it on? Do you know?
4:30.
4:30.
Yes.
So they really stuck it up these guys' asses, huh?
Christmas Day, 4:30, boy. Yeah.
4:30, yeah. Thanks, NFL.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough one. So it's Minnesota at New Orleans. Yeah, not a great game for me. I don't see a crime lord of the New York possibility guys on the list. Yes, I got you on that one, Leonard. Okay, Saturday games, 3 of them, Jeff. And by the way, so now this year you have six games total in the wild card instead of 4. Okay. So first weekend, I'm curious. I've heard some rumors in the past of a Monday night wild card game, which I haven't seen.
I hope not.
But I've heard of it. But the likelihood now, usually wild card weekend is the best weekend in football. You have 4 games. Usually you have that 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock Saturday, and then the 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Sunday. But this year you have 6 games in that day. You're looking at like a 12:30, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 2 on Saturday and Sunday.
You know what? I think they should do 1 on Friday night.
That would be a great idea.
2 on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe 2 on
2 on Sunday.
On Sunday.
I agree. I think the Friday night. Let me tell you something. There's one thing I'll tell you. One thing out of all of this coming up, they've had a bunch of Monday night and even the Tuesday night game 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night. And I know they don't like that because West Coast game, the West Coast, everybody's still working. But I love that early start game on the Monday or Tuesday night. I do. It was great.
Listen, when it comes to NFL playoffs, okay, there's nothing else going on right now. Everything is closed. Restaurants are closed. Bars are closed. Movies are closed. Everything is closed. You throw that on a Friday night, I think you're going to get big numbers for it. Oh,
I would wholeheartedly agree with that, especially if it's a decent game. I mean, you think about it, you're getting 6 teams, out there that are obviously playoff teams. Yeah, I agree.
You could schedule the best of the matchups for the Friday night game because you're still going to get people to watch the Saturday and Sunday games.
Yeah.
So let's just say that it's New Orleans and whoever, the Rams or something like that. Throw that game on a Friday night. You know what I mean? That'd be a great game for Friday.
Don't you think though? Because to me, I think that's best. But don't you think like if you put 3 games on a Saturday or Sunday, I think people will be burnt out by the second game on Sunday. I think most people will be burnt out from football.
Well, I just don't like the idea of putting a game on at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You know that I don't like that. Well, you know what I mean.
I haven't seen the playoff schedule yet, so I'm going to take a look over and see as we discuss the playoffs as it gets close, a couple weeks away. Here's the Saturday games, Jeff. 1 o'clock, Tampa at Detroit. Any excitement for that one?
No, because I just don't see Detroit putting up a good game against Tampa Bay.
Okay, the 4 o'clock game, San Francisco at the Cardinals at Arizona.
That one is a big one for Arizona.
Yep.
And don't both of them play in Arizona now?
I think, basically, it's a home game for both teams at this point. Yeah.
Pretty much. But I would think more important, especially, I'm glad you brought up in Minnesota, Hopkins. Did you see what's going on with him and his lack of practicing?
No, I didn't see that anywhere.
Yeah, supposedly his grandfather lives in Arizona.
Okay.
And monitors all of the movie the sports shows and papers and lets Hopkins know what it is that they're saying about him. Hopkins allegedly does not monitor this at all.
Really?
And there's a lot of people complaining that he's missed a lot of practice time and just doesn't seem to care about his practice time.
Wow.
Yeah. So like supposedly he's played, I forget what the number is, like practice wise, but it was low. Like maybe if there was 40 practices, he had like 12 of them.
So is this because of injury? He's nursing an injury? Because I remember Plaxico Burress in the 2000 Super Bowl, that whole year, he basically didn't practice and just played on Sunday because he was nursing an injury all year. Or is it just the fact he just doesn't want to practice?
It was a whole bunch. It kind of seems like he doesn't want to practice.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't remember word for word, so I don't want to say, especially when you could go read the article.
Sure. I'll take a look at it.
But it was like, wow, if that's true, then that's fucked up.
Yeah, now the night game is an interesting game, Jeff. It may be because it's an old school matchup. You don't think of these teams as old school, but they are kind of going back to the 70s old school matchup. And it means a little something for both teams, and that is the Miami at Las Vegas game.
I think Miami has more riding on it than Vegas does. I don't think that the Raiders are going to be able to, take the necessary step. I think that Miami has proven to be the better team.
Oh, absolutely. But the Raiders need this game. They're 7-7 fighting for the last playoff spot. Now, they're 2 games out, and they have to jump the Ravens and the Dolphins to have a shot at it. So it's probably very unlikely, but they need to win this game. So it's a very big game for the Raiders. The Dolphins, not so much. They, again, the Dolphins are 9-5. The Ravens are 9-5, Jeff. So both teams need to kind of win out to make the playoffs. I think this is a huge, huge season for the Miami Dolphins, and I think it's been completely underrated out there.
I think, as a matter of fact, I'll go as one is to say that if they don't make the playoffs after the year they've been having, that, yes, it'll be a moral victory just for what they did.
Yeah.
But the season could be labeled a disappointment.
Well, it's hard to say. Last year they were tanking, supposedly, and then this year they're second best team in their division and a team on the rise for sure.
Well, that's why I say that I think it will be a disappointment. Like they are ahead of schedule.
Oh, yeah.
When they were going to arrive. But, to lose out and not make the playoffs when you're 9-5, even if they win one more game, they go 10-6. You would like to think that they're going to make the playoffs. I don't see the Raiders. Although I would love if the half man was on right now.
Yes, I agree. But
he would say that they're going to get in.
Well, here's the thing. For 1 week at least, the Raiders, if they beat the Dolphins, they make themselves they're helping themselves there, and they got to hope that the Giants go in and beat the Ravens in Baltimore. And at that point, it's one game for the final. So it's an interesting game. I don't, I know Derek Carr still may or may not play. Mariota came and played really well last week in a backup role.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting matchup. So Sunday night game's not a bad game. It's a Saturday night game. Excuse me. It's 8:15. Sunday games, Jeff. So I want to run through them. You let me know what games you go. I think I'd have to watch that one. So obviously, game one is the Jets, Cleveland at the Jets.
God, I hope they lose by triple digits.
Well, again, yeah. Listen, they played as well as they did last week. The Jets can beat anybody at this moment, but I don't expect it. I expect the Jets to rebound and lose this one.
If they could lose by more than triple digits, I hope it happens.
Well, I don't think it's possible, but let's see. Okay, the second game. To me, this is an important game, but maybe it's because I'm a Giant fan. Giants at Baltimore.
I think it's just as important if it's more important for Baltimore, this is a team that's a playoff caliber team.
Yeah.
To be able to run all over the Giants.
Tough game for both. So let's see what happens. So now the next game, Atlanta at Kansas City. To me, this got no buzz to it. Kansas City's pretty much locked everything up, and Atlanta's playing it out. So this is a boring game for me.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? There is a little sports storyline. I believe Calvin Ridley was close to making the Pro Bowl, but he didn't quite make it.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be interesting if he had a big game against Kansas City.
Okay.
Put up over 100 yards, a couple touchdowns. What happens?
Okay. Now, keep in mind, they are not playing the Pro Bowl this year, which I don't know why they ever would anyway. Nobody pays attention to it. But this year it was just basically a formality, an honor, a verbal honor, so to speak. The next game up, Jeff, is Carolina at Washington. Now, this game's got some juice. Ron Rivera going back to his old team. The Redskins fighting for a playoff spot. While it's not the prettiest matchup, it's got some juice to this game.
Yeah, it does. I would think that it has more for the Redskins than it does the Panthers. Although, not for nothing,
yes.
Bridgewater is somebody that could use this game as to pad his resume, so to speak. I believe he's on a 1-year deal in Carolina.
Yep. Okay.
He's going to be looking to possibly move on or score a multi-year deal. He's still young enough to get one.
Oh, yeah, you got to figure Carolina's got to be looking for their future quarterback at this point in time, and where they find that, I don't know. I don't think Bridgewater's played well enough, but yeah, it's an interesting game. It's got some juice to it. Next game, to me, has no juice. Even though the Chicago Bears came back and won, that team had been 5-1. They lost like 7 straight games. They were quietly terrible. They wound up winning last week. They beat the Vikings, who are another inept team. But the Chicago Bears in Jacksonville is not a great game. It's not a game I'm paying attention to, other than this is a game that you could see that the Jaguars maybe could steal. That's what you're hoping for as a Jet fan.
It is possible.
So that's the only juice I see in that game, unless you see something different.
No, there's really not much more going on. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Another game to me that's got no juice, I could care less. Cincinnati at Houston, to me, is a meaningless football game.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. So here's a game that's an interesting, could be a future playoff matchup. 2 teams definitely on the different trajectories. Indianapolis at Pittsburgh, Jeff. That's a good football game, and one that the Steelers need to at least play really well in.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, after losing 3 in a row, sooner or later they're gonna have a rebound game, and the Colts aren't exactly going to scare anybody.
Nope,
not this year at least.
No, but not a bad football team.
The bubble too.
Yeah, not a bad football team. I mean, Carolina has the let's see, the Colts right now are the number 6 seed, 10-4, second in the AFC South. They're getting the second wild. Right now they're not locked in, but they're a game up on the second wild card. They're tied with the Browns. I guess the Browns must have the tiebreaker scenario, but the Colts are a little bit of a surprise team. Phillip Rivers is Phillip Rivers, and I'm not ever betting on Phillip Rivers to win a big game.
No, I can't see him being in the league next year at this time.
I would agree with that. I think he's another guy. I think it's the end of the 2004 quarterback draft. I think is this year between him and Big Ben. I think we've seen the last of that. Jeff, Denver at Seattle, to me, Denver at the Chargers. To me, no juice, nobody cares. The only thing you're watching is Justin Herbert out there play, who seems like a good football player at this point.
Yeah, Drew Lock. Nobody's sold on him.
Yep.
So I mean, any time to play is good for him, and maybe he'll catch fire and show if he belongs in the NFL. But right now, it's not looking so good.
The last 3 games of Sunday, Jeff, not bad football games. Here's probably the best games of the day. Rams at Seattle, got a little bit of playoff and division in it. So Rams at Seattle should be an interesting football game. They're still both fighting. Let's see, the Rams are 9-5, and the Seahawks are 10-4. So winner of this game, I guess the Rams would be move ahead into the division. So this is probably one of the bigger matchups.
Yeah, definitely. Joe Flynn, yes, you did miss it, but what was there to talk about? Bad team, bad players, horrible coach.
Yeah. Well, the one thing
they suck.
Yeah, that is interesting. Philly at Dallas, again, big division game. There's 2 teams still hanging in there by a thread. Either team can win the division.
Hanging by a thread, and still,
if
one of them loses, the other could still possibly win the division.
100%. There's absolutely. If the Giants and the Skins fall flat, either one of those 2 teams could jump up there and take it. So that's still a big game. Tennessee at Green Bay, to me, is a really interesting football game. That's 2 good teams. Not a great matchup if you're the Packers, but it's at least a good football game.
Is it possible? A preview of the Super Bowl?
It's possible. I was talking about it at work today with my boss actually, and here's what I said was, in the NFC there's no great team. There's a couple of really good teams. The Saints, if Breeze is healthy and playing well. The Packers. There's a few teams in the NFC that I could say are, the Rams, the Seahawks. They're decent teams and not great teams. In the AFC, the only great team is the Chiefs, and even them I don't think are infallible this year. So to me, if you told me tomorrow that I'm going to watch a Super Bowl that's the Titans and the Buccaneers, or the Titans and the Packers, or any teams, nothing would surprise me this year, Jeff, because it's just nobody is overwhelming anybody right now.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
But I would say 2 of the top teams, 2 of the favorites, have to be the Packers and Chiefs.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I think right now the Packers have the best team. I think the Saints are going to fall short. I think Breeze is not healthy. and he's gotten old, and they've had a couple bad losses that they need to rebound from. So we'll see. It's going to play the last game of the day. Monday night is the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. Interesting, Jeff. That's a complete turnaround. I mean, the Bills are clearly the best team of the two, and New England eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 2008. You know, I think that's going to be a very interesting offseason for the New England Patriots.
I want to see if Bill Belichick stays.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a chance that he may go. You know, I mean, he may take some time and he may walk away finally, because I can't see him walking out as a loser. You know, I can't see a perennial loser. Lose this year, lose next year.
I agree with you. But here's the thing, though. You know, if you're the Patriots, that team needs a makeover. Okay, it needs all new players. You know, it is. Do you allow Belichick, who's definitely not going to be here long term, the opportunity? See, what you don't want is Belichick to sell out the team to try and win next year and then walk away and then leave them in shambles. You want to say, okay, we're going to build the new foundation. And so to me, it's new coach. Now, if Bill wants to stay and move upstairs, but I think it's time for new coach and new players.
Well, listen, I think because it's Belichick, okay, if he could get them a Super Bowl next year, that Kraft is going to turn around and say, you know, listen, do what you need to do. I can't see him telling him, no, you can't.
No, I agree with you, but how could you don't even have a quarterback on that team? There's not a quarterback on that team. The guys who are good, the McCourties, you know, the guys on defense are playing below expectations. That team needs a severe makeover. The question is, are you going to keep what's his name? Not Sean McDermott. Josh McDaniels? Is he going to be your coach? Are you going to Belichick you upstairs?
I think that he's going to be. I think he's the coach in waiting, without a doubt.
And he has been. But the question is, if you're Kraft, you're 80 years old, are you? And Bill says he's got a year or so left. And he's going to. Do you let him throw all your cap into an uproar next year and try to bring in a bunch of players and go and go mercenary for a Super Bowl chance? I don't see it. To me, if you're them, I take the step back and rebuild like you did from the beginning. And
think about what you said, Robert Kraft, if he's going to be 80 or he is in his 80s,
close to it,
he doesn't have that much more time left. So why not? What does he care what the implications are if you let this guy turn around and try to bring a winner a Super Bowl back home in his last year? He gets to enjoy it too. No,
I get it, but then you again, it's like anything else. It's like if I own my own business and I was turning it over to my kids, I want to leave them a healthy organization to run. So do you want to let Bill try to make it because I'm 90 years old and I'm afraid this is going to be my last year at it, and that basically cripple my kids and the future of the organization? I can't see it. If I'm Kraft, I think this is the year to say, okay, we're starting over. It's time to redo. Bill could stay. He could be president of the organization. He could stay there.
What's the difference of starting over this year and next year if you know that you're going to get a Super Bowl trophy out of it? Sometimes you just got to turn around and say,
but they're not close. They're not even close, Jeff. That's the thing.
You don't know what they believe over there.
If they were 9-7, 8-8, you go, or playing really well, you go, all right, listen, a couple pieces, this team can, with Bill at the helm, where they're not close. I mean, offensively, they're a joke. I mean, Cam Newton's can't throw for 100 yards.
I understand that, but nonetheless, if you have Bill Belichick and after all of what he's done in that organization and the things that he's delivered, if he turns around and he says, I got this and I know that I could do this if you get me this, this, and this, then you're going to have to listen. You have to. You have no choice but to listen.
I can't argue with Jeff, but again, to me, it's time to we've talked about it for the last few years. When is it time to start over? And I think that truly is the time. You missed the playoffs for the first time in 12 years or 13 years. I think it's time to reorganize and maybe get a new guy at the top and start all over. If you don't do it this year, when do you do it?
Well, you do it the year after. If you think that there's a chance, it's New England. If you think that there's a chance, you can't turn around and tell Belichick, listen, you're going to spend your last couple of years here rebuilding, so that by the time you're done rebuilding, you're going to want to walk away and not reap the benefits. You think Belichick is the kind of coach that's going to worry about what's going to happen here 3, 5, 7
No,
years
maybe
down?
not. No, maybe not. But again, I think it's not. I don't think you can. I think if you're the organization and you're Kraft's son, I think at some point you have to make that decision for Bill and not keep letting Bill make that decision. Now, do I think Bill walks away from the game? No.
You yourself have said in the past that if it means that you're going to win this year, you can't worry about what happens the year after.
Well, I agree with that. 100%. Yeah. If you tell me you could put together a team and sell me out and you can take the shot, yeah, absolutely. You go for it this year. You don't worry about next year. But this team isn't close. This isn't a team that just missed it. So you're going to go out there and overspend on a couple big free agents and go for it next year. This is a team that's not even close.
No, I hear you.
So I mean, you're talking about next year gambling on a Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott or whoever the Marcus Mariota or Derek Carr or somebody if you're Belichick and putting all your eggs in the basket to try to win it. I don't see it, but we'll see. The playoffs are around the corner. We got we'll do more and more next week. We're gonna end the show. I think it's getting a little late, and I want to.
Well, before we end the show, I just. Joe Flynn, I don't know if you're on suicide watch or whatever the case is, but if you're right now more than 25, 30 feet off the ground, please get to ground level. Your comments.
I see it. Joe, let me tell you something. If you're a Mets fan, I think you got some good times coming ahead. Yes, I agree that the Mets under Will Ponce have been terrible. The Knicks under Dolan have been horrendous, but I think this Knicks team's not going to be bad. I'm not following basketball, but I will say this. I've noticed it, and I don't watch basketball anymore, but I do watch the highlights I think the social justice messaging has gone away. I think the leagues have realized it's a killer. There's no mention in basketball. I don't know what hockey's planning to do, if anything, but it seems like most sports have kind of shied away from it. But if you're a Knicks fan, I think things are going to get better. But yeah, if you're a Jets fan, a Knicks fan, a Mets fan, boy, Jeff, you've had a few rough decades.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. The Knicks, just as every single time that it looks as though that they're going to be able to start to go on the upswing, something happens and free agents all get signed 3 years too early.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, that's another plan out the fucking window. They've been trying to deal with this since fucking LeBron left Cleveland the first time.
Yeah, here's the thing with the Knicks, and we're going to end it, but my problem with the Knicks is they're always trying to bring in that star guy. They trade a whole bunch of young guys, and they bring in Carmelo Anthony or players like that. I would love to see this team stay with the young guys, stay with Randall and Barrett and Obi Toppin and Quickly and build this team and build your own superstars. Create your own LeBron James or Kevin Durant, and then maybe get a piece next year. I think this Knicks team is going to be tough. I love Thibodeau as a coach. I think this team's going to be good defensively, and they can score some points. They're not winning anything, but I think this team will hang around, and I think the foundation's good for the future. But I've said this a couple times with the Knicks, so I'm not buying it myself. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, listen, you're right. But it seems as though that you need 2 or 3 buddies to come riding into town, put the franchise on their backs.
I agree.
Pick up a third because they realize they're 1/3 short. Go make it happen for a couple years, and then it doesn't happen, for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I don't know who some of these guys are, but they've had a few young guys. Porzingis, he ended up going. Who was that other guy? Gallinari or something like that?
Yeah. They have been a few guys that they traded away or got away.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Why?
Again, it's the problem is they try to bring in somebody else's fallen superstar or a guy, and they can never get that second guy. They can never get. To me, this Knicks team needs to build from within. And again, LeBron James came from somewhere. Kevin Durant came from somewhere. Steph Curry came from somewhere. They were a superstar, built by their own team. Draft your own superstar. Make R.J. Barrett a superstar. I think he's good enough. I would like to see the Knicks team not bring in, and I agree with you, Jeff, but it's the one thing I hate about, it's one of the main things I hate about the NBA is that whole buddy system. I want to play with you, I want to play with him. So the three of us are going to force our teams to trade us to this team, and we're going to make that team great. And it happens. You're absolutely right. I hate it. I hate every bit of it.
Yeah, it's just, you listen, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Are we witnessing it right now in Brooklyn? with Durant.
That's a perfect example. Yeah.
And is it too late for him? You would
He's
think that
won.
the Knicks,
He's already won with Golden State, but then again, that's what he did. He went to Golden State where they were already a great team and jumped in.
now he has a chance to do it in Brooklyn. Is it too late to do in Brooklyn? Is he too far past his prime to do it?
Maybe. The problem I have with that is, they're already undermining the coach. They're already telling that they don't need a coach between him and Kyrie Irving. And if things get a little bad there, are they going to be fighting with each other? I mean, they're best friends and they want to play. You listen. Potentially, they can win a championship. There's nobody great in the East. They can challenge. But again, it doesn't excite me. You want to. I always say this: if you're a superstar guy, go to a shit team by yourself and win a championship with them. That's what I want to see. That's the impressive part.
Unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
No,
against teams that have 2 or 3 partners on them at a time.
Oh, absolutely right. 100% you're right.
But I will say this much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Listen, the thing that we have here in New York, okay, that nobody else has is New York.
Correct.
Basketball and hockey, Madison Square Garden. Mark Messier was a name before he came to the Rangers. He came to the Rangers. He won the Stanley Cup. He became a god.
100%.
Not even a name anymore. The man was a god. If they made Mount Rushmore, they may put his face on it first before they put Gretzky's, just because he did it with the Rangers in the Garden. Okay, that's what has to happen. Yeah. Somebody comes here, you do it in Madison Square fucking Garden.
100%.
Come on. Even Hulk Hogan put himself on the map by winning the championship in Madison Square Garden. Look at what happened.
You got me. You're to me again. It's not the prestigious thing that it used to be, because now you're playing Jacksonville. You're on TV all the time. You're in these shit towns. You're on TV every week. Now it's not as big, but still, you win a championship in Madison Square Garden, whether it's the Rangers or the Knicks, especially the Knicks. You will never buy a dinner again in your life in this town.
Let me tell you something. we say that because we look at it one way. It's the Garden, bro.
I agree with you.
Hallowed grounds.
Oh, I agree with you.
Okay? Especially since it hasn't happened in the Garden in fucking years.
Almost 50 years. It's almost 50 years.
Almost 50 years. And what, 25, 30 years since the last championship?
26.
25 years since the last championship.
Yeah.
In the Garden.
Correct.
Joe, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Think about what I'm saying. Joe says he's dying, but it's the truth.
Yeah. Jeff, you're 100% right. It's Madison Square Garden. You have 2 of the top teams in the sports, in New York and sports itself, and you haven't won a championship in 26 years.
Let me tell you something. I just went up to go see the tree at Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, I saw your pictures. Yeah.
Last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was hardly anybody there. Okay? Even with having to buy tickets and everything else, I got close enough to the tree to be happy.
Right.
Okay. But no matter what's going on, COVID-wise, whatever the fuck is going on, doesn't matter. Whatever's going on with social distancing and all of this fucking stuff with Black Lives Matter and then politics and everything else. Somebody comes and wins the fucking NBA championship and they bring it to the Garden. New York goes fucking batshit.
Let me tell you something. You ever want to see something big here? Watch if the Knicks ever won a dude. I went to last time I went to the games about 2 years ago. I don't think I went last year. We went the year before. We went a bunch of times. They are a terrible team.
I know they are.
And the place is packed. I'm talking packed, and the energy level's incredible. I said, God forbid this team ever won, they tear the roof off this place.
Of course.
And the problem is, they can't seem to get there. I like this team though. I love this coach. I think they're heading in the right direction. Are they close? No, not yet. They're a year or 2 away. And maybe you're right, Jeff. Maybe a big player away from it. But I think there's some talent on this team. And I'm not as high on basketball, but I have to keep my eye on it now because it's basketball season. We have stuff to talk about. So that's about it.
Look at Joe Flynn's comments. He's highly amused right now.
Oh my God. So guys, listen, we're going to end the show. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Hey, Hefe, I wanted to ask you before, what's on a typical Talwinski family dinner table on Christmas Eve?
Oh, wow. Well, we got a couple different things going on. We're going to have tomorrow I start making my antipasto. We're gonna have it around 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll pick on that for a little bit. Then we'll have some shrimp cocktail, and we'll have that. Some baked clams. Then Sharon wants to go out for a little bit. Me and her. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not 100% behind what we're going to be doing. But if that's what she wants to do, then by all means, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
She doesn't ask. And then we're going to come home, and then we're going to have some fried scallops, some possibly fried shrimp, lobster tails, and filet mignon. So, and then after that, if we're able to move without exploding, we go down into the basement and we start to open up some presents.
Nice.
If she falls asleep, I wake her up. She asks why she's wet, and I'll be like, I don't know. The dog must have peed on you, so I don't know. Just drove water from across the room.
You must make the wives happy. I have a new saying. I don't know if I can say it on the air, but it's essentially, I'll let you play with it, but it's a you have to make the wife happy or your lady happy because your penis will not kiss itself.
Yes, yeah. So, you are right. Yes, you're right.
Not to be too graphic on it. I could say it a lot better, but
I think you definitely, everyone knows exactly what you're saying right at this point in time.
So we have to, till it can do that to itself, Jeff. We have no choice, but we have to.
Sometimes, no matter what you do, it still has to try to do it to itself. But that is the case anyway.
That is the case anyway. But so listen, guys. I hope you have a nice Merry Christmas. We thank you for stopping by with us. We'll be back next week. We'll talk off the air. I'm not sure what Jeff's plans are. I would like to do it on New Year's Eve, but let's see what our plans are. Both. If not, we'll be here Wednesday. I think Wednesday's a good night for me, but we'll see what we can put together. We'll definitely be here for a regular show, whether it's Wednesday or Thursday. It will be a regular distance show.
I can tell you this much. That, we went out to lunch today. Okay. And Sharon picked a spot that she knew that they had heaters and everything else. So we went there. The fucking heaters, I might as well have had a cigarette lighter at the table. That's about what the heater did.
Really?
And there was a pretty wide open area for people to sit at. And there was one fucking heater. And there was a guy walking around that worked at the place. He's wearing shorts and he's got just a shirt on, like, long sleeve shirt. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm dying here. I'm freezing. And this guy's walking around. So we're not going any place out to eat for fucking New Year's Eve. That's impossible. It's totally impossible.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, tomorrow I got to work a half a day. I wasn't supposed to, but
really?
I have to work. 12 o'clock. We're shutting the job down at 12, so I'll be home. I'll probably leave a little earlier than that once I know the day's almost done. My super's on vacation. My boss is on vacation, so I kind of got left holding the bag for the day. I did get to go home with a few bottles, including a nice Johnny Walker Blue, so it kind of helped a little bit. We stocked the bar up a little bit. But I'll be home and then little nap maybe, and then off to my parents for 4 o'clock for the festivities. Pajamas will be the attire. The family's coming in pajamas.
Oh, really?
Love that. Love that new tradition.
Yeah. What, it just bottoms or top and bottoms?
You have to be fully pajama. Onesies are the choice for most. We like the guys who show up in the onesies. I do not wear the onesie.
Good. Can I tell you a quick story?
Please. We got the floor is yours.
Okay. So we're at the mall today.
Okay.
And we get in the mall, all of a sudden I feel a little gurgling in my stomach.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I told my wife, I always have butt wipes with me. So I says, put these butt wipes in your bag just in case. I says, because they'll do me better in your pocketbook than they will on the car. So now all of a sudden I feel a little bit of a buildup. Now I didn't call Bookie AG, but I rolled the dice on this one. And I crop dusted a doorway coming into the mall just as I seen these women coming. So like it was almost like I handed it off and left them in a cloud at the door. And
I heard they went for COVID vaccines right afterwards.
COVID vaccines, believe me, they're gonna kill. They can kill everything from cancer to common cold, COVID to fucking AIDS. What I did right there, and it was great because I just fucking and just kept it moving. Wife didn't know. I just gave her like a short, a little escort to the front. Ladies first.
Ladies
Held
first.
the door open for this other fat animal coming the other way, and just fucking let about 9 cubic yards of air out right there. and just kept it moving. Trailed it right behind me like vapor trails. It was awesome.
And I'll tell you, you're a very very courageous man, because when you get the gurgle, you never know what's the tail end of that crop dusting.
You're 100% right, Tom. You know what? But I felt confident because I had an episode earlier in the day, so I knew the tank was close to empty.
Okay,
refueling itself. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get a squirt or two.
Well, that's the point. It's you're sure you're not going to have a mudslide, but you never know if you get a little chocolate out of the end of the bottle. So,
yeah, a little chocolot rain. So you do have to be careful, without a doubt.
I applaud the courageousness of your effort. Not many men would have made the move you made. They would have tried to hold that one in and get to the bathroom, and then you get there and you let loose.
Listen, sometimes it doesn't always work out as well. Let me ask you, give you a scenario, okay? Or
sure.
Let me get you up. You hold it in,
okay?
And then you finally say, okay, now I got to make a move to go to the bathroom. You go into the bathroom, and there's a bunch of other guys there. Now, what do? Do you get in the stall, get ready, and announce your arrival by just fucking like, or do you try to wait for noise and let it a little out at a little at a time? What's your move?
I have a move, Jeff.
Okay.
I'll let you in on it. Simplest move of all time. You lean back, and as you're letting loose, you drop the elbow on the handle, and you flush at the same time. You cover it, Jeff, right there and then.
But if you miss that fucking handle,
oh yeah, listen. You the potential's there for you're announcing your presence with authority if the handle doesn't go.
Yes, you do, and
yes,
also. I want you to keep in mind when you go to flush the bowl.
Go ahead.
If it's a high moon tide, and you know what I'm talking about,
100%, you're definitely splashing. 100%.
Your fucking nuts will be like in Roaring Rapids. You got to be careful with that.
Okay, listen, it's a lot of thought. Listen, and I've gone to some places and go, screw it, I'm just letting loose, and whoever wants to stay can stay. So I've done it both ways, but I try to be a little dainty. Especially if there's kids around, you don't want to scare the kids.
Well, never mind scaring the kids. Those are going to be, what, Daddy? What was that? What was that, Daddy? Daddy, what was that?
I can think of one time, only once it's happened to me. I was in a public bathroom in one of the airports. I think it was Newark, and I was working, and I used to work for a company. We did a lot of work at the airport, so I would go look at jobs. So I was leaving. I go, I gotta go, and it's right around the holiday time, so the place is packed. And I go in the bathroom, and it was one of those. It started like, I think I got to go. And by the time I got to the bathroom, I was sprinting. Pants were coming off as I was getting into the thing. And it came out, and the bathroom was packed. And luckily, the store was available, but there was a line for the urinals. And somebody goes, holy shit, what the hell? Did you just die in there? And it was just like, I could care less. But the whole place was just like, what the fuck? Courtesy flush. They just yelling. I was just like, I don't care. It was raining mud, and I didn't give a shit. Clearly.
A long time ago, me and Joey went to go see Queensryche. So we go into the State Theater. I forget even where it was. It was up in North Jersey, and then we were going down to the Borgata the next night to go watch Queensryche.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a long time ago. So I got like $1,000 on me because I know we're going down to Atlantic City.
Right.
We're going to have some, a little fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in the State Theater. We went to eat first. And all of a sudden, I'm like, holy shit, my stomach is killing me. What the fuck is going on here? I was like, I got to go pinch a loaf. So I go into the bathroom. Every single store was destroyed.
Oh.
Completely destroyed. Past everything. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm wondering, I was like, wait, I got $1,000 on me. I seen people that work here all over the place. So I'm just going to grab one of them and say, listen, I'll give you $100. Take me to a fucking clean bathroom. I know there's more than one bathroom here.
Yeah, sure.
So of course, I'm holding on to this by like the tail, the edge like this, like, okay. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't make this much longer. I can't find a person. It was like winning lotto. I just could not do it. So finally I go into the bathroom. There's some guy taking a shit. And I was like, you found a clean bathroom? And he's like, no, man, I had to clean it myself. So I was like, fuck. Like, all right. So I'm looking like, which one is the least? So
yeah.
Right next to this guy was the least. I get in there, I start fucking cleaning everything up as best I could with just toilet paper. I sat down and I was like, sorry about this, guy. And just fucking boom, blew the fuck up. The other guy's in the other bathroom crying. I'm in there fucking laughing, crying. And the whole time, like neither one of us could stop. If somebody else came in, they're probably
yeah.
like, "What the fuck are these two jerk-offs doing?" But I never saw that mystery man's face. He never saw mine.
Bet it didn't happen, Jeff. The mystery is better this way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for you know, he's having a Christmas Eve, and maybe he's like, so this guy sat down and said sorry about this, and just fucking boom, you know.
You never know the stories that leads to, Jeff. But guys, you never know where the show is headed. We little Christmas pooping-ish fun here for you. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Again, I'll just start it off. Jeff, I'll give you the final word before I do the goodbyes. Anything you want to add before we close it up?
No, man. No, I'm just can't wait to see what tomorrow brings, and gonna be eating a lot of food and fat fucking out. I got a bottle of apple schnapps.
Apple schnapps.
Yeah. I went to Nuremberg.
Okay.
And guy there, I knew the bartender. He gave me one time. He goes, "Have a drink with me." So I was like, "Okay." So I was like, he goes, "What do you want?" I was like, "Surprise me." And he gives me this apple schnapps. I was like, "Wow, this is good. It tastes just like apple juice. Just a slight kick at the end, but very good." So I was like, "You know what? It's Christmas. I'm going to get me a bottle of this because I can do 2 or 3 shots, hang tight. You know, you can't really drink it too much because you're going through a diabetic coma.
Yeah.
You know, because it's too thick and too sweet. But 3 or 4, I had 3 shots yesterday. I was beginning to get buzzed, so I'm thinking that a 4th or possibly 5th shot in an hour will get me to where I need to be. To
nice.
Except for when I have to go out tomorrow in the middle of Christmas Eve.
I actually came home with 4 bottles today. One, the Johnny Walker Blue. I came home with a thing called Powder Keg Gin. Yes, I don't know. I'm not a gin person, so that'll be up on the show for a long time.
The name of it alone is something that
I got a bottle of a whiskey from Ireland called Slane Whiskey.
Never.
Slane. It's supposed to be a very famous whiskey from Ireland. A buddy of mine who's from Ireland gave it to me. And I also got a bottle of some other whiskey never heard of before, but a very expensive bottle turned out. Didn't look like much when I was given it, but so I got 4 bottles. Not counting the big bottle of Grey Goose I got the other day. So it was a nice little haul this year. It was nice.
Irish gin is that it? I don't know if you can see the.
I can't see it. It's blue?
Yes, bluish with a rabbit on the rabbit.
That's it.
With antleers on there.
I believe that's the bottle, yes.
Gunpowder Irish gin.
That's the one.
Man, I would re-gift that.
I like it because it's a nice looking bottle, so it'll look nice on the bar.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not a gin person. I only know one man in the world who's actually a gin guy. He's used to be affiliated with our show.
Any word from him?
I've not heard a word since the last day he produced this show.
Really?
No, I can't say that. I heard from 2 or 3 times he had some personal issues that I tried to help him with. And then since then, I've not, other than some pictures on Facebook, I've not seen or heard from him.
I believe his personal issue was who was in the pictures, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we'll move on from that. But guys, that's it.
Say none of our business.
Exactly right. As long as everybody's happy and healthy, that's all we care about. We wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. I won't wish you a Happy New Year because we'll do that for you guys next week. Make sure you come on back. Jeff will read the death toll from the year.
We'll work on that, man. Going to work on that.
Yeah, we're going to talk. We'll do a lot of. We'll talk about the Hoff. I didn't get to David Hasselhoff being a Maiden and Metallica fan. Now he's singing metal songs, but we'll get to that. We'll talk a lot of football, Jets, Giants. You will see where everybody is. We'll kind of break down the playoffs. Should be a little more clearer by that point. But listen, guys, enjoy your Christmas Eve and your Christmas Day. The weather's going to be 55 degrees on Christmas, and then it drops. So, guys, be prepared. But listen, enjoy yourselves. I hope you and your family have a great time. Celebrate it the best you can. Come on back next Thursday night next week when Jeff and I get together again to do this all over again. Thanks to everybody who listened. Merry Christmas, Jeff, to you, your wife, your family. I'll definitely speak to you tomorrow. But you know, I love you, brother, and I'm so happy that we're doing this together.
Thank you, dude, and it means a lot to hear you say that. I love you like a brother, also.
Absolutely.
The retarded brother with the red hair and the the one eye that just like slowly goes that way, comes back, and goes that way, comes back. That kind of brother.
The brother sits in the back of the station wagon. Yes.
Yeah. The one they don't care if the station wagon gets wiped out in the back. You know,
Exactly.
oh no, you look out the back window. Let us know if anybody's coming.
Yes.
You know?
That's the retarded brother. Listen, I'll take it at this point in time. So as long as I'm considered a brother by you, that's all that matters. But listen, you and your wife enjoy your day tomorrow. I'm sure I'll talk to you on my way home or at some point during the day.
Yeah, please do it.
Absolutely. I will check in with you. And guys, enjoy your holiday weekend. Lots of football. There's college. There's pros. We'll talk about the college football playoffs next week. And so much more when we do it all again next Thursday. But again, for Jeff, myself, and all of us here at Hard Rocket Sports, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. Watch some TV. Eat a lot of food. Drink a lot of drink. But please be safe. And come on back to Hard Rocket Sports next week. Hefe.
Later, my friend.
Have a good night, pal. Talk to you tomorrow.
Later.
Good night, everybody.